decided to agree that Mei is meta. And I've been saying that Mei's been meta since day one, playboy. Ever since 2016 when I first discovered her, I've been saying that she has potential, that she's one of the most underrated heroes of all time. And wanna know what y'all call me? Y'all call me a virgin, but that has nothing to do with it, alright? I wasn't gonna argue with nobody. I was just gonna stay in my little corner until people finally saw the power that she holds and then have my 15 minutes of fame. Well, guess what? She's the most meta hero in Overwatch, and you know what that means. People crying for a Mei nerf. God, can we have Mei meta, please? Please? Now, I can take this video in many directions when talking about Mei being meta, the new Mei Blade meta with Reaper and Mei, or just talk about Mei being the broken hero. And the common route that I think people are gonna assume that I'm gonna be taking is the leave Mei alone. She's okay. She does not need a nerf, but that would make me biased. And you know what I am? I wish I was biased, but I'm the man of the people. We're going to be talking about Mei and if she's going to be the new broken hero and if she does need a nerf or what this is going to mean for the Overwatch meta that is soon going to take place in this Lock 222 composition. Now, if you guys don't know what's going on or why this whole Mei meta is transpiring, let me just give you a quick debrief on why Mei is coming to fruition. Because this isn't me just pulling out my butt all of a sudden because I'm a Mei main. No. What's happening is obviously 222 is going to be coming to competitive. That means you can only be allowed 2 tanks, where beforehand it was very popular to run 3 tanks. Well, the most popular 2 tanks right now is Orisa and Hog. Some can argue Diva, but that's the tandem that you want to try to run because pulled pork is so popular. So because this tandem was so effective, it caused people to get a little bit creative to try to counter this powerful duo stack. That's why Diva was considered a little bit because she could eat the Roadhog bullets. But the thing is though, that at that point you replace your own pulled pork tactic. So that's why a DPS slot was used for Mei, because every single time the halt would come and the Roadhog hook would come, you just had to put a wall in between their Roadhog and whoever got pulled. That way they can't get instantly deleted. And because of that, pulled pork was kind of tamed a little bit, but this is the same scenario that happened with Sombra, where Sombra was literally made to try to counter goats. But then people saw the potential with Sombra, so they just ran Sombra in every single team comp because EMP and hack is so powerful. And the same thing now with me. People realize, hey, this not only stops pulled pork, but this basically stops everybody that doesn't have an ability to get out of the freeze. So let's just run Mei in every single God, something I've been trying to tell everyone for years now. Obviously, I'm happy Mei's meta, but I'm also heated because now everyone's gonna be a Mei main. Everyone's gonna be playing Mei to the extent of Brigitte, and everyone's gonna be crying about Mei to the extent of Brigitte because of how the meta is ran right now. But the funny thing is though, she hasn't really changed. You know, she's gotten a few buffs to her ice block and to her freeze in the past 3 years, but she really hasn't changed all too much. But that's looking at it from the viewpoint of a biased Mei main, and I'm trying to look at it from the general public of dealing with a Mei on the enemy team, because I understand this is going to be a meta that could get people so irritated with Overwatch because they already hate Mei, but now they have to deal with her in every single game. They have to deal with the freeze. They have to deal with Snowball freezing them when they're Roadhog, Mercy, McCree. Yeah, I can totally understand why this isn't a desired meta. So how do we solve that from being the case? In most of my rework idea videos, I never like to suggest a straight up nerf rather than just a rework if this hero is actually broken. But then that calls for the question, is this hero broken or are there ways to work around it? You need to answer that question first because then that will call for changes to be made. And at least in the case of Mei, I feel like the most vocal people that will be saying that Mei is broken are people that play Hammond, are people that play Genji, people that play McCree, people that are subject to die because of how Mei is built and also the playstyle that those heroes call for. But then wouldn't that mean Winston is broke if you're playing Genji? Wouldn't that mean Genji is broken if you play someone like Bastion? People seem to forget that Overwatch is a game of counters. They have a powerful Widowmaker, you play Diva or Winston. They have a powerful Pharah, you play Soldier or McCree. They have a powerful Mei, you don't play someone like Hammond that is subject to die because you have to play so up close and personal with the enemy team, and if they have a CC ability, which Hammond is very, very vulnerable to, then yeah, you're more than likely going to die. So the solution, the easiest solution that you can do right this second, right now, is not to play heroes that is subject to get frozen. Rather, if you can play heroes that can get out or protect themselves from the short radius of her freeze, be it like a Widowmaker, be it like an Ashe, or someone that has to play in the back line where they can't get frozen, that might be a smarter choice. Or with the tanks, playing someone like Zarya that has a bubble, playing someone like Orisa that not only has a shield or a fortify, that's a meta hero, or also playing someone like Winston. Winston is low-key a great counter for Mei because the bubble is 3 360, and he also has a jump ability that if he is slowly getting frozen, he still has a little bit of time if he times it out perfectly to just jump out of there. Again, I'm not trying to be biased here. There will be some people that disagree and say that I am being biased, but I can't change their opinions on that. But what I can ask is, are there ways to work around the effectiveness of Mei, which is her up close freeze? And people that understand the game of Overwatch will say yes, because they realize there are not only DPS but also tanks and even supports that could play at range and protect themselves away from the freeze. I'm also fully aware that she has a secondary icicle fire that can do damage to those outrange heroes, be it a Widowmaker and a soldier. And if you're complaining that Mei is broken because of that, because you're dying to those icicles, doesn't that mean the player's just good with Mei? If they're hitting her shots with those icicles, doesn't that mean she deserves the kill? What's the difference between a Mei icicle secondary fire and a Hanzo air? Well, I've been saying Hanzo's broken for the longest time, but the point is, though, when does it come to the point that the player is just good, but people don't realize it? I can understand why you can get annoyed with the freeze, but when it comes to the icicle, I don't think that's the thing we need to focus on rather than her freeze and even her wall, because then people are going to bring up the idea of, well, I hate getting walled off when I'm trying to catch up with my team. Well, shouldn't you regroup as a team? This is why I'm making this video and trying to be as unbiased as possible, because I'm trying to help you see your flaws, because if you're getting split off with your team because they're already over the bridge on Legion Tower and you're just coming from spawn, well, your team shouldn't have gone without you. You should have been grouped up, because I can't split the enemy team when they're all together if they're bomb rushing, whether it's on Hanamura, Legion Tower, whatever. So when it comes to the wall aspect, well, again, be smart of how you're playing and where you're playing. Or maybe we can nerf the wall and her freeze just a tiny bit, so that way people aren't so frustrated with Mei, and Mei mains are happy because Mei is still playable, just not as frustrating, because I am aware that the Mei wall has a bit of HP, especially if you're bringing it down by yourself, so maybe knocking it down from 400 to 300 might be in order. That way the wall is still a little bit effective, but is not so hard to bring down. And maybe you can also decrease the radius of her freeze so that's not so easy to trap someone in freeze, or maybe you can just increase the time that it takes to get someone completely frozen. That way the enemy team can maybe come in the nick of time to protect their teammate with a Zarya bubble, with a Reinhardt shield, whatever. But again, with all those nerfs being said and suggested, I also want you to realize what you could do right now, right this second, to make sure that you aren't subject to the Mei freeze. Play smarter, play better, play with your team so that you're not easily trapped, because you have options right now, where beforehand, you didn't have much options. So, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this Mei meta, Mei Blade, whatever you call it, and I'll see you guys then. I love you guys, and bye.